Yeah. Say what they want, go where they don't. I'm never alone, 'cause I ride with the Radfords. Healthy and whole, relationship goals. It's good for the soul. Get ready, let's go, go. Come right in your seat when you need a release. It's a beautiful thing, marriage and unity. So let's ride, let's ride, oh let's ride, ride with the Radfords. Oh let's ride, let's ride, let's ride, ride with the Radfords.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Riding with the Radfords, the podcast for covenant couples and those who want to be. I am one of your hosts, Pastor Jay.
And I'm First Lady Al.
What's up, girl? How you doing? It's been a minute since we've been on these mics.
It's been a minute, yes.
Life been lifing.
Life been lifing.
But we still here.
That's right. We had a little hiatus.
Yeah. So this is season 3, episode 1.
Right.
Yeah, one more season getting started, and preferably we're going to be relevant and always real to those who would listen to the podcast and draw some wisdom, some direction.
We're definitely in a different time and space than we were in 2022 when we launched.
True that.
With the things that are going on around us. So hopefully we can be relevant for couples.
That is the hope. Well, we're talking today about clearing space, creating peace.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Jesus.
This might turn into 2 episodes right here because, 22, 23 years of living, stuff can add up. Stuff can pile up.
Yeah.
You have the physical, and then you have the emotional, and sometimes the spiritual.
Right.
The clutter.
Yeah.
And we want to touch on that and maybe speak to some of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's what inspired this was your 20, your power of 25.
My vision board.
Your vision board. You did the vision board, the power of 25, where you're one part of that stuck with me was the idea of getting rid of 25 things at a time, 25 things at a time to help declutter our home.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, there's definitely more things than that that need to be done. But you know, when they say, "How do you eat an elephant?"
One bite
I
at a time.
don't know why people eat an elephant, but anyway, one bite at a time. And so, some of the things that we need to deal with, it felt massive and overwhelming. And so, as I laid out my vision for 2025, that was one of the things that I want to tackle.
Yeah. I thought it was a good idea. You even got me looking. What can I lay down? 25 things can I lay down? I got more than 25 things.
Well, look, we started this journey right at the height of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because remember, we were off. We had plenty of time to be home. And then I broke my foot.
Yeah.
So the momentum shifted. And then we went back to work. And then life started lifing again. And that's what got us to the point where we are now.
So we're looking at a couple of things that we think are going to be helpful with those of you who may be in similar situation that we're in. You're seeing stuff and it's beginning to collect dust and things you're moving. You're in transition, and that's really where we are in a real sense. We're trying to finish the basement downstairs, and
you hear me sighing.
I mean, literally, the contractor said, y'all got too much stuff.
I mean,
the contractor couldn't do his work because we hadn't gotten rid of all of the stuff. And truth be told, we still hadn't gotten rid of all of this stuff.
It's storage.
Yeah.
A lot of it is storage. A lot of it is stuff that we just have to get to. And I mean, y'all listen, that basement, it is still staring at us. And I think we both feel bad about that, but it really isn't just about the clutter in the basement. We basically kind of realized together that it's something deeper. And sometimes we want peace, but we don't realize how full our lives are with the things we're supposed to have let go of, like last year or 5 years ago, because it just starts to accumulate. And then you just get used to it being there. And I think I said something to you the other day about, just kind of feeling overwhelmed and confined, with some of the perimeter things that we have. You remember there was a time where we were getting the floors done upstairs and we transitioned from carpet to hardwood. So that meant you had to clear a room out so that the contractor could come in. So in doing so, you pile things in one place or another just to get, clearance. And then you go back to your norm.
Yeah.
And all of the things that you cleared out are still in the spaces that you put it in instead of putting it back in its rightful place. So today we're going to talk about what it looks like to clear space physically and emotionally so we can experience more peace in our homes and in our marriage, because there is a connection.
There is a connection. There's a definite connection. So let's talk about that drop zone that all of us have. That place where you lay something down and it stays laid down. I think about it. So I'm going to go lay down. But that drop zone, the garage, the basement, a junk drawer.
I think everybody has one.
Yeah, I think we got one. I think about when we were thinking of putting this together, I thought about that junk drawer. I thought about Fred Sanford. He had all those glasses. He had to go through all. It was a junk drawer, and it just held all the stuff he had not discarded.
Right.
He couldn't wear but one pair of glasses at a time, but he had all those glasses in that junk drawer.
When I think about ours in the kitchen, I mean, it's got ketchup packets, it's got thumbtacks, maybe a few batteries, some instructions from some blender we got rid of probably 5 years ago.
From 2001. Jeez,
some beat up straws. I don't know.
But it's not just about the stuff.
No, it's not.
It's the frustration that comes with that drop zone. And I think it bears addressing.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just the frustration; it's the tension, because subtly that stuff affects marriages. And we're playing about it right now, but it really can wreak havoc in some homes. Because you want to toss something, but your spouse thinks it's sentimental. So maybe that might be a little dramatic or traumatic. I think about one day I was trying to get rid of one of your sweatshirts from Southern Arkansas University.
Talk that talk.
And, like the sleeves were all rat-a-tat-tatted. And,
yes.
and you were like, no.
That meant something.
That's my favorite hoodie. I don't want to get rid of that.
Yeah, it's really, yeah. I would not wear that out in public anywhere, but it held and holds some sentimental value.
And I get it.
I thought you were gonna talk about my Letterman jacket.
Oh yeah, that too. Well, I understand the sentiment behind that though. I mean, that's something you earned, so I there's a little bit of nostalgia with it. But
Even though I can't wear it.
Well, yeah. But that but that hoodie, we attempted to buy some new ones from school, from the bookstore recently, and it's just not the same feel because it didn't have that worn-in feeling.
It's not the same.
I know it.
That hoodie is broke in. It's broke in.
That's right. So it could be sentimental, or it can just be, like we said at the beginning, life be life, and like time just slips in, and then you go, where did the time go? When I thought that I was going to be able to attack this thing. And before we know it, more either comes to add to it, or you just end up not being able to address it. And depending on how each spouse feels about that, it could cause a little bit of stress.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I would probably take away from that piece is when we don't make time to release, we unintentionally resist peace.
Wow.
How does that work? I mean, and that's the thing, that if you don't set aside the time to let go of those things, it's almost like a resistance because those things continue to crowd, your home, crowd your space, And like you said earlier, it can be a frustration. And so in a subtle way, it's a resistance because see, when that stuff is gone, there's a sense of freedom that comes with that.
Yeah.
You're free to roam about the cabin, and when it's in the way, it's in the way.
Yeah.
So I think in a subtle way, it's a resistance of peace.
I don't know if this fits, but when you said that, I heard the song, the Teddy Pendergrass song. I think I better let it go.
Right. Let it go.
It looks like another love TKO.
Yeah.
And that's some things that whether it's sentimental, whether it's, can we say hoarding even?
Hoarding is a thing. Ooh, you know what?
What?
You remember okay, so during the pandemic, when we first started clearing out the garage, we had so many boxes from a certain online company. I don't want to say their name right now. But we had so many boxes. We looked like we could be one of their warehouses. And oftentimes I would say to you, can we throw this box away? It'll be a TV box or a TV box from back in the day when we first moved here and we bought a TV from Best Buy. We still had that, was it Dynex? We still had those boxes in the basement and in the garage. And I'd be like, can we throw this out? I don't know. We might have to return something. And I think we even got rid of that TV a long time ago. Why do we still have this box?
This is true.
Or old stereo system. That you were the box king.
Listen, come on now. Don't play.
Is that hoarding?
No, I think I think it's because when I purchase something, whether it's a used, I like it in its original box.
That's true.
And I can see
I'm
myself,
definitely that way with sneakers.
If I return it, then I want to.
You got to put it in a trash bag.
If I resell it, something I want it in its original box.
That's true.
I want the new owner to feel.
I got it.
The newness, but
yes.
But I hardly ever resell anything.
I know, right? But hoarding is a thing. So when you brought that up, that is very true. And we're not just really talking about stuff in bins because those are the things that we can see or not see. Yeah. But sometimes the real clutter is emotional, which kind of goes to back to hoarding, because sometimes people hoard things out of emotion. That it's something that makes them feel good. Like you said, sentimental things can still breed hoarding.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if I let this go, I'm going to be missing something. Like the memory is going to be gone. Well, take a picture.
Or I'm so tired of losing things.
True.
I hold on to stuff.
Yes.
That has outlived its value or its usefulness because I don't want to lose anything again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we could be talking about a physical thing, but also we could be talking about emotional things. So old arguments, disappointments, that story you keep telling yourself over and over and over about your spouse, rehearsing that, that becomes clutter.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really does start to crowd out opportunities to be intimate, with your spouse, opportunities to have real conversations with your spouse because that stuff is living or taking up space in your mind.
And you brought up my issue with the boxes.
You feel exposed. I'm sorry.
Just a little bit. But we box past hurts. We'll box up past hurts and we'll put a label on them. And we'll say, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with this later. I'll deal with that later. As they say, kick the can down the road. But later never comes.
That is so true. Like when we were moving and we just threw everything from the kitchen in a box.
Yeah.
And then you say, I'll get to this later. And that kitchen box is still in that basement.
3 years later.
Right.
And that box is now in the middle of the hallway of our relationship.
Yes.
We move from the physical, now we're moving to some emotional things. And so that box full of the stuff that we compartmentalize, that we put aside, now it's impeding our progress.
Come on.
Relationally. And I want to provoke my couples out there right now. What's something emotionally that you've been holding on to that needs to be released? Think about it right now. I'm gonna do you like I do my second grade class. Take some think time.
Okay.
And think about something emotional that you have been holding on to that needs to be released.
I like that reflection.
It's not thrown away, but it processed, and you put it in its rightful place or its proper place. Yeah. What? Let it marinate for a minute.
So you're saying that there are experiences and memories or situations that don't necessarily need to be forgotten. They just need to be put in the proper place.
Exactly.
I'm thinking about, remember that movie Inside Out?
Inside Out. Okay.
It was about emotions. And so you see like almost the emotions are in a factory of sorts, and they are organizing that little girl's experiences.
Yeah.
Because the pain of one, it's like you don't need to forget it, but what it caused, the feeling that it produced when she thought about it needed to be properly placed.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get it.
It's not like you throw it away, act like it never happened. You just allow it to be what it is, and put it in the place that is most appropriate. Yeah.
That's like, it was good that I had been afflicted.
Whoa, come on here, David. Come on here, David. Yeah.
Because in the moment of experiencing something, even with your spouse, it might not have felt good. It might not have, produced what you thought it should in that moment.
Ooh.
But when you look back over it, did you grow from it?
Ooh.
Come on.
To all my Bible readers, she just referenced a time where David was reflecting. King David was reflecting on his life, and he said, "It was good that I had been afflicted." Now he didn't say that in the midst of what he was going through. I think he was reflecting over Absalom trying to take the throne, his son take the throne from him. He was reflecting on all these things. And he said, it was good that I had been afflicted.
So he basically put it in its proper place.
Yeah. What I saw, he took the time at this point to process it.
Right.
And in processing it, he put it in its proper place.
And the proper place for that was his spiritual growth.
Yeah.
Because if he was able to see, and I know this is a spiritual lesson now, but if he was able to see God in a different way through that experience, he grew from it.
Yeah.
And sometimes if I think back over the early stages of our marriage, there were definitely moments that I didn't like when it was happening, the lights being turned off or whatever. But what did I learn from it? Through thick and through thin, for better, for worse, in good times and bad, it's us.
It's us.
You know what I mean? And so we learned how to, rely on each other, how to communicate with each other through those experiences. While they might not have felt good at the time, that we were able to look back, and those are the things that have built us into who we are now.
Definitely. So what's the takeaway from this?
I think the takeaway from this one would be you can't connect deeply when you're dodging emotional clutter. You got to deal with it. Yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, there's really no other way to say that. You got to deal with it. And so whatever it is that is causing the crowding, of the space in your relationship, you just have to deal with it, because it's hard to be intimate. It's hard to have a true connection if you don't.
Yeah, you have to deal with it. Most definitely. Peace does not just show up.
That's true.
This, I think, what we're saying brings us to this reality. Peace is not something that just appears out of thin air. It's created.
Yeah, on purpose.
It's created. It's the result of intentional clearing, one decision at a time, intentionally. I'm putting this aside. I'm casting this aside. This no longer has clearance. It no longer has the level of importance that it once did. I'm putting it aside, and that I don't even want to say dismissal, but that a proper placement, intentionality makes way for more peace.
Right. And I think the intention or being intentional is basically where the power of 25 came from for me, because I need to lose weight. I need to exercise more. I need to declutter. So when I thought about 2025 and, what my personal vision was for the year, decluttering 25 things became something that was workable and intentional. Because when I walk in the basement and I just say, hey, I'm about to clear this basement out, that's a broad statement right there.
Yeah.
But if I can intentionally say 1, 2, 3, I'm walking through with a bucket or a bag or a basket and I'm pulling 25 things specific, then there's some accomplishment. And so as we're relating this to the emotional piece, you might not be able to declutter 25 things in your life, or there may not be even 25 things that have happened to you over time that is crowding out, your relationship with your spouse. But maybe you need to dedicate, 25 minutes, in a day or something to sit down and just really reflect and see what are the things that are hindering me or holding me back. Sometimes you always talk about at church, when you produce something, when your harvest comes up and it's not what you wanted, check your seed.
Yep.
And so maybe you need to sit down and check your seed, so that you can figure out what is it that is causing, the drift or the shift, or I shouldn't say shift, but a wedge maybe, in my relationship. If it's that, there may be some emotional things that have happened between us, or maybe a previous thing that I haven't dealt with. And so, making sure that I take time to do that. If you pick 25 things or a moment in time over the month to release that physical or emotional thing, you'll find out that if you let it go, it might help your relationship breathe better. And so the takeaway from that one would probably be peace is the reward of the release.
Yeah.
That once I release that thing, now it's like I'm not hiding it from my spouse. I'm not carrying it around. You know what I mean? It's such a freedom that comes with that.
Peace is the reward of release.
It is.
It is. So we want it, but we want to hold on to the things that continue to prevent it.
Yeah, like unforgiveness.
Ooh.
Unforgiveness is a clutter.
Ooh.
So remember, forgiveness is not about me. About the other person. It's about me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying peace is the reward of release. Because if once I release that person by forgiving them, then I open myself up to have the peace of God come in.
Yes.
That's the reward.
Point blank period.
Point blank period. That's the release. That's the reward.
Yeah. You want peace? Initiate release.
Release.
You want peace? Initiate release.
Right.
And I can just hear somebody saying, but y'all don't know what they did. Y'all don't know what they did. This hurt. What y'all don't know what they did. How would you respond? How would you respond to somebody who's in a get back mode right now?
Well, one of the things that we have learned in all of these processes that we're going through is you cannot renovate without removing. Just like you said, the contractor said, it's too much stuff down here. We shifted things from one side to the other.
That was so embarrassing.
Come on.
Embarrassing. That was embarrassing.
And so you can't move forward without removing the things that are in the way. And
Yeah.
the scripture keeps coming to my mind that we can't be made ruler over much if we can't be ruler over little.
Yeah.
If we can't prove ourselves over a little bit, God is not going to give you more. So removing things allows for the renovation. If it's junk in the closet or junk in the heart, what you don't deal with will take up space that God is trying to use for something greater.
So if you want peace,
If you want peace,
start with release.
yes.
That's a bar. That's a bar.
That's a bar.
Little by little,
Little by little.
shelf by shelf,
Yes.
thought by thought,
Yes.
emotion by emotion. We can go down the line. If you want peace, start with release.
Yes.
That's good.
I love
That's
it.
good. In fact, I guess what I want to share, my couples, I want to leave you a little homework. What do you need to clear to invite more peace into your home and into your heart?
Great.
This is your personal reflection. What is it with you right now that you need to clear in order to invite more peace into your home and into your heart? Let that marinate for a minute. Yeah.
You know what? That's so good because some people can have an impeccable home. We not one of them. But some people can have everything in place. It looks beautiful. But internally, emotionally, spiritually, chaos, clutter.
Wow.
So that reflection about in what's needed to invite more peace in the home and in the heart. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Close us out, babe.
We just want people to be whole and better. Nobody's looking for perfection in a relationship.
Not at all.
But when we know better, we do better. And for some people, for years and years and years, they just tacked on more and more and more, packed on more and more and more, and have not dealt with issues. And so, I feel like this message came today to unction somebody to deal with the junk emotionally, spiritually, and physically.
You know what? Something, and I don't mean to.
No, go ahead.
To preempt you right now, but something you just said kind of spurred. I think I voiced this out. Kind of my frustration looking at the clutter. It's like I want my house back.
Yeah.
I recognize there are areas in my house I'm not enjoying because of stuff I won't release, stuff I won't let go of, stuff I won't give away. We said it. If you hadn't worn it in 6 to 8 months, I'm not talking about seasonal stuff.
Yeah, right.
But if it's not a part of your rotation, you probably need to let that go. And for me, my thing is, I pay good money for this. This is never mind. It's out of style. like
out of size.
Like I'm. Oh, see.
Not
you messing with me. You messing. You're getting messy.
You're not by yourself.
You're so messy
Okay.
right now. Yeah, I thought about I'm gonna get you sucker when Huggy Bear got out of jail.
Oh yeah, yeah. The platforms and like so out of touch
with the goldfish in them.
Right.
And he thought he was slick.
Right.
They made fun of it because he was in another era.
Yeah.
He was in another time, and there are things that don't fit how your life has changed, how you have matured, that you're still holding on to. And my thing was, I want my house back because there are things I can't enjoy certain areas because of these other things that I've let accumulate.
Right.
Yeah. So that peace does really begin with release.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
No. And we're in the springtime, so I hope that, those that are listening, that you will make it a point to be intentional, and deal with the stuff. That's probably our biggest takeaway for you today, that you, like us, would take a moment to deal with the stuff, whatever it is, if it's physical, if it's emotional, if it's spiritual. That if you really desire true peace in your home, clearing the space to create peace.
Yeah. Pray something was said that spurred thought, that either brought confirmation, brought clarity, and if need be, a little conviction.
Oh, yeah.
So that we can do and be better to ourselves and to our spouses.
Let us know.
Yes, let us know. Let us know, please. For Riding with the Radfords, I am Pastor Jay.
And I'm First Lady Al.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.